Today on CCX News, a controversial park name. The Robbinsdale City Council considers renaming a park named after a family linked to racial land covenants. The Robbinsdale City Council considered two options Tuesday to rename Sanborn Park, Shoreline Park, or Castile Park. But as the Lane Cleveland reports, Robbinsdale residents are going to have to wait a little longer before the issue is resolved.
So, we're going to have a public hearing on this.
The act of renaming a park.
I co-signed to rename Robbinsdale's Sanborn Park as Castile Park.
Brought out a slew of different opinions.
I want to register my vote for Shoreline Park. It has nothing to do with being racist or political or anything else.
At issue was what to rename Robbinsdale's Sanborn Park. Shoreline Park after the street where it's located, or Castile Park after Philando Castile, who was killed by police during a traffic stop in 2016. Castile's family were longtime Robbinsdale residents. His mom came to speak Tuesday night.
I'm not here to negotiate or debate the name change. I am here simply to say thank you for even the consideration for the nomination.
A number of people from the city's Human Rights Commission voiced their support for the Castile Park name.
Sanborn, a park name that should be replaced by a name that should be remembered. Philando Castile, the legacy of a man who wouldn't let kids go hungry.
Meanwhile, Mayor Blonigan and Councilmember Regan Murphy were part of a group that signed off on renaming Sanborn to Shoreline Park.
Our petition was first.
Some of the commissioners asked that they recuse themselves from the vote.
With all due respect, I request that Mayor Blonigan and Mr. Murphy recuse themselves from voting on these applications. I believe that you should do so out of a respect for a fair process here tonight.
The council ultimately agreed that the process was flawed and that more people should have a chance to weigh in. They'll revisit the park naming process at a work session later this fall. In Robbinsdale, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
Now to the votes supporters and opponents of light rail have waited for. It turns out they too will have to wait a little longer. The Robbinsdale City Council voted to table its municipal consent vote on the Blue Line extension until October 1st. The extra time will allow council members to further digest a letter sent by the project office that was supposed to address Robbinsdale concerns. It's important to note the city of Robbinsdale can't stop the project or change the route. It can only obtain concessions on the current design. Robbinsdale council members made that point clear while sharing other concerns.
You know, the benefits, I just that says we need to do this, but I get the feeling that the state and the various organizations put so much time and money into this that they feel like they can't make a pivot and a change.
I feel like we're not getting what other cities are getting. I mean, I think maybe we're going to be the only city that doesn't have an elevated portion.
Specifically, the council wants to elevate the Blue Line over 41st and 42nd Avenues to address pedestrian and traffic safety concerns. The Crystal City Council also pushed back the vote on municipal consent for the Blue Line. Mayor Jim Adams says he and Crystal's residents haven't been happy with the process.
The citizens are fighting this. The citizens don't want this. And quite frankly, you take consent and you change the meaning and have it mean yes in 3 different scenarios. That's not consent. You need to use a different word.
The Crystal Council pushed back its vote so it could get more details on roadway and rail construction plans. Traffic impacts are another significant concern. Adams has long questioned the proposed alignment for the Blue Line. He said he's not confident upcoming discussions could change his mind. The Crystal Council expects to vote on municipal consent on October 1st. The Hennepin County Board approved a proposed budget and tax levy for next year. It calls for a 5.5% increase to the property tax levy. For the median valued home, it would result in a $44 increase in property taxes. County Commissioner Kevin Anderson said the county's budget is strained by inflation and expiring federal COVID funding. Though coffee beans are grown overseas, people here are seeing it affect the price of their morning pick-me-up. I spoke with a shop in Plymouth that says it's expensive to keep up. Customers are taking in the morning buzz at the Fox and Pantry in Plymouth, and many of them are regulars.
Probably 1 to 2 times a week, or actually probably 2 to 3 times a week, to be honest.
Jarrett Santori is a black coffee connoisseur. The Fox and Pantry, he says, makes it just right.
I'm pretty finicky about the coffee that I actually drink, so very good black cup of coffee, no doubt.
Yeah. For owner Kim Joels, that is no accident. She says she strives to give people an experience and a drink that matches it.
I think, a lot of people are looking more for that independent coffee shop, less transactional, something where you can come in and kind of spend some time with people. That was kind of my whole goal.
For customers, the experience goes back to its organic, no carbon footprint beans, and in its specialty drinks, too.
And they know that I really care about really quality ingredients. For example, in our mocha, we actually get chocolate in from Europe to use, as opposed to a syrup that would cost me 1/10 of the price.
Coffee price data reveals that the price of coffee is hitting 13-year highs, surging above $2.60 a pound. Conditions across the globe are partly to blame.
Climate change is a big one. The disruptions in the weather patterns obviously affects every industry, but coffee particularly.
Over the last year, that plus shipping costs have hit Joels directly. She says that business does its best to take on that price, but sometimes it has to carry over to the customer. Joel says they've just done it once.
It's something that's very vulnerable as a business to increase prices. It's something that's so necessary if you're going to grow.
But ultimately, for her and her customers, that quality is worth paying for. The Fox and Pantry business model is more than a coffee shop. It also offers cocktails, classes, and a boutique.
Maple Grove High School sports will have a new conference home next school year as they move to the Lake Conference. Jay Wilcox has the story.
After years of speculation, it's happening. Maple Grove will leave the Northwest Suburban and join the Lake Conference starting in the fall of 2025.
We're excited for the challenge. I'm going to miss this conference just because with the 14 teams, you get such a variety every night. You kind of form these little rivalries, get to know the coaches, the players, the schools, all that type of thing. But yeah, I mean, change is always a little, scary, but we're excited for the opportunity. There's a lot of very good teams over there, a lot of good history.
Oh, I'm super excited. It's just, it's just an opportunity to play against some different teams here. Opportunity, really, I'm more along the lines of just getting a chance to build with them and see how the new schedules look and how the new conference runs things and different things along that way. So the Northwest Suburban Conference has been nothing but an outstanding conference and still is an outstanding conference. I think it's just, like you said, the rumors have kind of floated around for a while, and now we have an opportunity to do it, and I'm excited for our athletes and the school to get an opportunity to compete in the Lake.
The Lake will become an 8-team conference barring further movement, which is smaller than the 14-team Northwest Suburban. The Lake is certainly an elite league in most sports, and the competition level may mean Maple Grove won't post the same records as they have been in some sports. But more competition is viewed as a good thing.
You want to play the best competition. That's how you're going to get better. You want your kids to see it. You want them to, to believe they can do it. And the only way you can do that is to see it. So that's why we've played Minnetonka. Last year I think we played Minnetonka 3 times in girls hockey, and so I think, we just want to play the best teams possible. This is only going to make us better.
The hope is for Maple Grove to continue some rivalries from the Northwest Suburban, including with fellow District 279 schools Osseo and Park Center in non-conference play where it's a good fit. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
Hopkins High School has seen success over the years in numerous athletic programs, but the Royals football team hadn't won a game since 2020. Last Friday against Eastview, Hopkins was trying to snap their long losing streak. Chaz Moots has the story.
When it comes to winning, Hopkins football isn't too familiar. Seniors on the Royals football team are aware.
We won our one and only game in 5th grade, and other than that, I don't think I've won a game since 3rd grade.
Very aware.
I did the calculations recently. I think we're 1 in 67.
At the varsity level, Hopkins has a losing streak of 29 straight games. That's 3 seasons with no wins, and for the seniors going back to their youth days, besides that 1 win in 5th grade.
Never won a football game.
Not fun. All the hard work.
Going to the practices, it's work, lose, work, lose. To not taste victory at any point in that time frame, I've never heard of it, honestly. It's completely mind-blowing to me.
Last Friday against Eastview, first-year head coach Chauncey Williams-Bearfield had his team down by 2 touchdowns at halftime. In the second half, the Royals rallied and tied the game up in the fourth quarter. At the end of regulation, the score remained tied at 14.
Never done overtime before. They score, I'm like, is that it? Did they win? Didn't realize we had a chance, and I was like, okay, this is it.
Down by 7 in overtime, and from their own 16-yard line, the Royals answered back. Instead of kicking an extra point for the tie,
we had the opportunity to go for the win. Let's go for it.
The Royals decided to roll the dice, go for 2, and lose their losing streak.
I've been at this since 3rd grade. It kind of just all flew at us at once. It's like we got one, and just felt amazing.
In Minnetonka, Chaz Moots, CCX Sports.
Find more prep sports games and highlights at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.